Absolutely superb. It is the Moose Clothing Cup, Sri Lanka against England. It's a test series and it's powered by Daraz. Joe Root there right of your screen, and of course a new captain for Sri Lanka, Dinesh Chandimal, taking over the captaincy with the injury, and we'll update you more on that as well, of Dimuth Karunaratne. A lot of test match experience, 68 test matches that they've lost there with Dimuth Karunaratne not available for this test match. We'll talk more about that and his injury shortly. A very, very good morning and welcome to the Galle International Stadium, this beautiful stadium with the fort, lovely fort in behind me, the backdrop of this wonderful ocean as well. So some great scenes to look forward to over the next 5 days, hopefully, here in Galle at this wonderful stadium. It is Sri Lanka hosting England. This series was due to be played in March last year, and because of COVID, of course, there's been so much going on in that time between now and then, but we are pleased to have England back here in Sri Lanka. Also pleased to have alongside me Oais Shah, former England international. Oais, morning to you. Welcome to Sri Lanka. What are you expecting from the series from an England point of view?
Morning, Simon. Well, look, England, it's going to be their first test of the winter. Their tour of South Africa got cut short due to COVID. You mentioned COVID. And yeah, guys would be quarantining, preparing. But it's their first opportunity now to come out here and play the longer version of the game. And I'm sure guys are going to be excited. And there's going to be some exciting talent in that test lineup coming up.
And they know how to win here as well. I think that's the key thing from an England point of view. Last time they were here in 2018, 3-0 series win. So they'll take a lot of confidence from that, although some of the personnel are different.
Yeah, for sure, and especially at this ground. They won a test match at this ground, and funny enough, the whole series is going to be played here. So yeah, definitely going to be, in a good frame of mind coming to the subcontinent. Yes, the likes of Stokes are missing. I know Archer wasn't here last time, but he's been a key part of English cricket in all forms of the game, not just Test cricket. So yeah, but the depth of the squad is such that you've still got the likes of Anderson, Broad, likes of that who are spearheading the attack. But you've got the bulk of that team still here. You've got the same leader in Joe Root, who'll be looking to start this winter off with hopefully a win.
Yeah, although they will be looking forward to it. Sri Lanka have not played a lot of test match cricket at home in the last couple of years. They were due to have a big season last year at home, but obviously because of COVID, they weren't able to do that. The last time they played 2 test matches in Sri Lanka was against New Zealand back in 2018-19. So it's been a long time between test matches at home for Sri Lanka. We're talking about this Galle Stadium. It is wonderful. We've had some little bit of rain in and around the area in the last couple of days. So what is happening out in the middle? Let's go out to the middle and find out from Russell Arnold about the pitch conditions and maybe a little bit about the weather as well.
It's really good to be out here once again. It's been a long time since Sri Lanka had a test match at home. Challenges are plenty, so many injuries, and since the fact that they haven't played here, it's going to really test them. But I'll tell you one thing, what the players from both sides will enjoy. They won't be challenged too much about the weather. It's nice and pleasant, a little bit of rain around, but when you're out here, it feels good. But initially, the thoughts go on to the wicket. Under covers because so much rain around, but a good job being done. For the first day, you won't get a better goal track. Nice and even. Yes, it looks on the dry side, very little grass around. So win the toss, you bat first. There's no two words about it, and try and stay in the game, not aim too high. The only little bit of concern is towards the center of the pitch, you get 2 different colors. Now, there's nothing wrong with the pitch. It's just that 2 different types of grass has been used, and that's very normal in Sri Lanka. So as of now, no threats at all. Bat first, get the runs on the board, and stay in the game. That's always crucial for playing Test cricket here in Galle. Well, we're in for a good one and looking forward to it, and we hope and pray that the rain stay away.
Yeah, we certainly do, Russell. We have had a bit of rain in and around the last couple of days. Sitting in our hotel room in quarantine and watching the rain pelt down on the ocean, but hasn't stopped the people out there doing a bit of surfing and some swimming as well. Looking forward to some better weather throughout the next 4 to 5 days, I'm sure. Well, what about the toss decision? And Mark Butcher was out there a little while ago with the two skippers, and the coin went up and it fell in favour of Sri Lanka. So Damuth Karunaratne out of that side. We mentioned that earlier. Dinesh Chandimal was out in the middle with Joe Root, the England skipper. And the team batting first is Sri Lanka. They won the toss, decided to bat first. So Tidamana is back in this Sri Lankan side. Kusal Pereira, Kusal Mendes, Chandimal, the skipper, will bat it for. Angelo Matthews, that's a nice welcome back from a Sri Lankan point of view there. Niroshan Dikwala, Shanaka Hasaranga, Dilruwan Pereira, Lasif Mbodenya, and Vishnu Fernando. So just the one genuine seamer, then an all-rounder seamer as well, and three spinners from a Sri Lankan point of view. Now with the England side, Oace, when we look at this England side, I guess there's a couple of talking points which we'll get to. We'll run through that side for you. Dom Sibley and Zach Crawley at the top, Bairstow at 3, Joe Root at 4, Dan Lawrence with a test match debut, Butler, Curran, Bess, Wood, Leach and Broad. So no Jimmy Anderson. And I guess from an England point of view, a couple of talking points. Zach Crawley at the top and Johnny Bairstow at number 3.
Yeah, interesting that, considering Zach's had success at number 3. So you would have thought they would have persevered with him at that spot just for continuity. And it'd be interesting to see how we go when these guys go to India. Because there's all talks about Josh Butler not being there. So it'd be interesting how they're going to balance the team. Do you really want to keep moving Zach Crawley up and down? So it'd be interesting to see how they cope with him in India.
Yeah, and okay, so the all-rounder in Sam Curran into the side, and then they're using Mark Wood and Stuart Broad. Some tough decisions, I suppose, from an England point of view, and leaving Jimmy Anderson out, but they've gone with Broad and Mark Wood.
Yeah, interesting. Saying that, England left out Stuart Broad at the start of our summer. In 2020, so they're not scared of making the big call. And I guess, moving forward, they do have to look at guys coming through. Eventually, Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson will finish playing cricket. So I guess it's a positive step, and I'd imagine Stuart and Jimmy accept that. I think that's the key. I think those guys understand their roles from now on to as they finish their careers. It's only going to be good for English cricket guys coming through.
Yeah, nice for Stuart Broad, I think, and really nice for Dan Lawrence. A test match debut for Dan Lawrence. Here he is getting his cap. Tell us a little bit about Dan Lawrence.
Yeah, look, Dan's a special talent. I was fortunate enough to have a few years at Essex, and he was coming through. And yeah, look, he's slightly unorthodox, but I tell you what, he can bat. Once he gets in, he's pretty quick at scoring, and he's sort of come through the ranks of Essex, and he's done really well at the England A level. And now, obviously, being given the test cap from his former captain, James Foster, a special moment. And yeah, I'm sure he will take test cricket with duck to water.
What I love about the Dan Lawrence story is it's almost a sign of the changing of times in English cricket. There used to be so much talk around technically correct, the MCC coaching manual, all those things. When you came through an academy or came through a system in England, you had to be so correct. Dan Lawrence is not correct. And I love the fact that now England are looking at these players and saying, we're just going to let these guys play and play how they play and how they've scored runs and not look to change them.
I think you hit the key word there, play. It's all about turning up, playing your brand of cricket. If it's worked in the first class level, can you do it, like I mentioned, at the England A level, where Dan Lawrence has done very well, and now the step up to test cricket. And as an Essex supporter, as a former Essex player, I really hope he does well in his test match.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I mean, last time that these two sides played at this venue, it was a win for England. 3 of the key players that played in that test match, Moeen Ali picked up 8 wickets, Ben Foakes scored 100, Keaton Jennings scored 100 in that test match here at Gore. None of those players are involved, but England will be looking forward to perhaps other players in particular standing up from a Sri Lankan point of view in that series. 18 wickets for Dilruwan Pereira in that 3 test match series, which England won 3-0. Looking forward to putting runs on the board, though. I think that's the key for Sri Lanka. And without Damuth Karunaratne, that'll be very tough. They lose all of that experience as far as Karunaratne is concerned. They're going to rely heavily on maybe Tiramana at the top, Angelo Matthews through the middle, But I think Russell Arnold hit the nail on the head at the toss when he, the pitch report, sorry, when he said that put 250, 300 on the board here in Gaul, you will be in the game. It's all about getting a big or a decent first innings total and keeping your side in the game. Might swing around a little bit early on this morning. Looking forward to that, perhaps from the quick bowlers. And yeah, it's not going to be easy, I guess, for the first 10, 15 overs of the morning, but it should get a little bit easier throughout the day. It's always a good track to bat first on. That's what we're looking forward to. So after the national anthems, which are about coming up, we'll head up to the commentary box and you'll be with Roshan Abisinga and Mark Butcher.
A very good morning from the Galle International Stadium. I can tell you that it is not the usual morning. Generally, we have strong sunshine and blue skies. It's very different, but still very, very pleasant. And as I said, a good morning to everybody, wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. It's a historic day for Sri Lanka because Test cricket is back. Don't forget, we haven't had international cricket for a while. As the world knows, this pandemic has been causing real issues. But thankfully, all that has been overcome in terms of playing, and we're ready to start. The umpires are out there, and England team, and We should have the two openers coming out shortly. The big news is Dimut Karnarat is not playing, so Dinesh Chandimal is captain. And just a quick look at the two teams that are playing today. Well, that's a look at the teams. I'll let Mark Butcher, who's with me, talk about the England team. Morning, Butch.
Very morning to you, Roshan. The weather is friendly here in Gaul in comparison to what it's usually like. But England have gone with Zach Crawley at the top of the order. He was so successful, of course, making that brilliant double 100 against Pakistan back in August at number 3. But Johnny Bairstow comes in at 3 for him. Dan Lawrence of Chingford in Essex comes in to make his Test match debut at number 5. And England have gone for Mark Wood, who hasn't played a Test match since the first Test match of last COVID summer, against the West Indies, which was all the way back in July. So England have gone for his extra pace. Jimmy Anderson sits this one out, and Sam Curran will be England's all-rounder. No Moeen Ali, of course. He is still struggling with COVID, still has 1 or 2 symptoms, we believe, from the UK strain of the COVID infection. So England's 2 spinners will be the relatively inexperienced Leach and Bess, former teammates at Somerset, of course, although Don Bess is now at Yorkshire. And England, who won the toss on all 3 occasions in their win here in 2018, will have to do it the hard way here, batting second. Hiro Tiramani is up there opening the batting. And of course, Kusal Pereira, man who made that astonishing 156 not out and run chase against South Africa in Durban not so long ago.
Interesting bowling combinations, Butch. 3 spinners for Sri Lanka, 1 frontline seamer in Asita Fernando, and Stuart Broad starting things off. What an awesome record he's got. And we go to Lahirudin Tirimana with 3 slips and a gully. Just a quick question before things get underway. I'd say a black armband.
Yeah, well, England have lost 3 former players, John Edridge and Robbie Jackman, both of Surrey County Cricket Club, and Don Smith, who was the oldest English cricketer.
Down the leg side from round the wicket. That's the first delivery. Just angling down the leg side. Tirimana just getting inside the line. So he's got a man out of the fine leg boundary. Mid-wicket, mid-on. So mid-off point. The Ball Stadium, as usual, is quite picturesque, but the new normal, no spectators.
No, there is there's 1 flag. The army would normally be here in force for a tour of Sri Lanka, for a tour of anywhere, in fact, supporting England. And I've spied just the 1 army flag. Even though we have no spectators.